Alright, so I'm going to show how to replace the battery on this mid-2014 13-inch MacBook Pro model A1502. So as you can see, this laptop is very bowed out. You can see the screen doesn't even close completely. If you lay it down, you can actually like rock the MacBook side to side. Alright, so first thing we're going to need, let's see, so we're going to need a P5 or Pentalobe 1.2 screwdriver, as well as a T5 or Torx 5 screwdriver. Alright, so first we're going to use the Pentalobe screwdriver and remove the screws from the bottom. Because it's bowed out like this, you want to hold the cover down as you remove the screws. If you don't hold it down, sometimes the case will like pop out and then it will fly out and launch your screws all over the place. Alright, so to keep track of the screws, you put them flat side down like this on your desk. In the pattern you remove them. You want to keep the screws in order because they can be different size, shape, and lengths. And then just put them in the pattern that you see here. So you see it's in this rectangular form. Alright, you want to put that in that layout so that it's easier to remember where you got the screws from. Alright, if this video helps you, make sure to like, subscribe, and share my channel so that other people can see the videos and learn from them. Alright, let's go ahead and continue getting all the screws out. If it helps you save a bunch of money, please consider contributing a little bit to the channel so that I can continue doing this for a living. These repairs are actually what I do for a living. I fix computers and stuff for people, and then I try and post whatever I can online. Alright, let's see here. Alright, so anyways, let's go ahead and continue taking all these screws out. Yeah, and you want to hold the cover down because it can pop out and then launch the screws out. Okay. Alright, there we go. So now we got all the screws out. We're going to take the cover off. Here you can see, because it got pushed out, all these clips got yanked out. Normally what you have to do is you have to grab back here and pull the cover off. But because the battery is like so inflated here, it actually popped the cover out by itself. Alright, so anyways, it's pretty dusty inside this computer and the fan and everything, so let me clean that up and I'll be back. Alright, see you guys in a bit. Alright, I'm back. So I cleaned out the dust, and you can see it's a lot cleaner. I mean, it's not perfect, but yep. Alright, so I just use a toothbrush and then loosen up the dust, and then I use an electric air blower and blow the dust out. Okay, so anyways, now what we're going to do, we're going to disconnect the battery. So the way you do that, let me actually zoom in to show this a little bit better. Okay, so here the battery's connected. Alright, so what you're going to do, you're going to get underneath this little gap here, and you're going to pull this up. Okay, so here you can see I can pull that up. So it's easiest if you lay this on your desk, alright, or your table. Then you just get underneath the corners and you just pull it up from both corners just like this. You might have to kind of wiggle it a little bit, and there we go. Alright, so next thing we're going to do, we're going to switch to the T5 or Torx 5 screwdriver and remove all those screws. Alright, let's zoom out. If you want to make it a little bit safer to work on, you can actually open up the MacBook after disconnecting the battery, and then you can press and hold the power button for 10 to 15 seconds to drain any power that's left on the board. Alright, so this is kind of a safety measure. It makes it a bit safer to work on. Alright, so we're just going to do that. Okay. Alright, so now let's go ahead and remove the T5 or Torx 5 screws. So there's 3 holding each speaker in, and then there's 1 holding the battery in here. So let's go ahead and remove the battery screw. Again, you want to keep the screws in order because they can be different size, shape, and lengths. Alright. And if you mix them up, you can damage the computer. Alright, let's remove the 3 from the screw on this side. Okay. Let me actually zoom in a bit because our main focus is the battery area. Okay. Alright, so we got those 3 screws for that speaker out. And then let's go to the other side and do the same thing. Alright. We'll remove these 3 screws as well. Okay, if you want, you can remove the speakers completely, but I'm just going to move them out of the way so that it's a little bit easier to work on. Alright. If you want to remove this speaker, there's the cable going along here that goes underneath this piece that you would have to remove. And so I'm actually gonna just do it without removing that. All right, so once we got all 3 screws on this side out, what we're gonna do is get underneath the speaker here and we're gonna lift it up. Okay, as you can see, then we're gonna kind of gently move it out. There is a little adhesive holding the cable onto this piece here, so you want to be careful. I'm just gonna swing that out of the way just like that. All right, then this side, the other speaker, this one's a lot easier to remove because we don't have to take out other stuff. So same thing, we're going to lift this up, okay? And then we're gonna swing this. You wanna be careful because the cable goes underneath here. So we're gonna swing it over this way, okay? And you wanna, again, try and route that cable underneath. Why is it getting stuck there? Okay, there we go, so that the cable's on top. And then to disconnect the cable, you use a thin, flat pry tool. Okay, I get underneath this cable. Don't pop it up yet. Get as close to the connector as you can. All right, let me zoom in here. You can use like a plastic pry tool, works well for this. So you can use something like that, okay? And then you can basically get the tool as far as you can in. I like to get the tool in towards the center. I'll show you why in a bit. But you get the tool in there, and then you can go ahead and kind of pop this up at the edge, all right? It's kind of having some issues. You want to pop one corner, there we go, like that, and then go ahead and do the other. It's easier for me to do this with my fingernails. Let me show you. I click this in, get my fingernail under there, and then I kind of just pop it out like that. But same thing with the plastic tool, all right? So now that we got that, we're going to go ahead and take the speaker out. Let me show you the thing that we're doing with the speaker here. Okay, so we got the speaker out. Oh, why is there some adhesive stuff there? Okay, so we're done. We'll set the speaker aside. So here's what's going on with the connector here. As you can see, or hopefully you can see on the connector here. So the plastic here, it's not a complete flat piece of plastic. It actually goes in slightly. So the edge, let me show you here. So the edge out here sticks out and then it goes in. So there's this groove here. So basically what we're doing with the pry tool is we're getting in between that little groove and then we're popping up the connector from underneath. All right. If you try and just yank the cables, there's a good chance you'll break the connector here or the cables off of the speaker here. So you don't want to just yank this cable out. All right. Okay, let's zoom back out. Let's go ahead and remove the battery. Okay, so to remove the battery, I use a thin metal pry tool. It's not sharp or anything. You can use other stuff, but it needs to be pretty tough to get underneath the battery packs. So it's held in place with some foam adhesives. It might be a little easier because it's all inflated like this, but we'll find out. All right, the tool I've been using a long time, so it has some slight bends in it. So you want to make sure if your tool is slightly bent at the end that the tool goes underneath like this. So basically it scrapes and pushes up the battery. If the tool's like this curved, okay, and you go underneath the battery, it's going to scrape all under the battery and there's a good chance you're going to have a fire. So you want to be very careful with that. All right, so we're going to take this tool and we're going to go ahead and scrape underneath the battery pack here. Again, we're just going to move that speaker out of the way. Okay, and then we're just going to get the tool under there and push our way under through. All right, so just like that. Okay, and you want to try and keep going in a straight motion. You don't want to like try and slice down like this because the adhesive, because it's all holding, if you push like that, then it will cut that adhesive, but then the rest of the adhesive will be kind of pressing down. And if you try and go this way, there's a good chance you're going to end up cutting the battery pack open. All right, so there we go. We got that piece out. I'm going to put this speaker back over for now. All right, let's go ahead and get this speaker or the battery piece on top just so it's there. All right, and then we're going to go this way and we're going to continue. Oh, actually, we don't need the speaker there yet. I want to make sure to get the rest of it out. Okay, so let's go ahead and get this battery pack out as well. Same thing, just get the tool underneath. This one, it kind of peeled itself up. Let's see if we can pull it. Nope. All right, so we're gonna have to just cut through, I guess. Actually, I think that helped. So on this one, because the inflated, it helped kind of. Oh, no, I guess we still have to cut it. Okay, oh, it did help. Okay, so it looks like I can actually slowly, I might actually be able to just slowly peel this one up. Kinda. Oh man, this one actually, it popped, it got so inflated it popped itself. I can actually smell so on this side, it's actually popped open. Anyways, you don't want to inhale that stuff too much. So if for some reason you smell that, it's kind of like a sweet smell. That means the lithium is leaking out, and you don't want to breathe that stuff. That's not good for you. So let's get this down into place. All right, so we got that out. And go to the other side, and we're gonna, same thing, scrape this one out. Okay, we're just gonna cut this. I'll show you when I'm done the puncture that, I guess technically it's not a puncture, it's just like it opened itself from being expanded too much like this. So this tape, it couldn't hold it closed anymore, and it peeled back on the other side. Okay, whoa, this second pack is so much easier. Yeah, I think what happened was it inflated so much that it popped, and then it deflated, so now the adhesive isn't holding too well. Alright, so there we go, got all of that. Alright, so now we're going to remove the middle packs. They are raised slightly higher, so if you look in here, okay, in here it's raised slightly off, so you can't just go straight over, you have to go slightly higher, and this is raised for the trackpad. Alright, you want to be careful not to go this way because you don't want to accidentally damage the keyboard or trackpad cable, so it's best to go over this way. Alright. Okay, so we're going to cut through this adhesive as well. And let's actually start towards the bottom here. I've had other people say they use like dental floss to wrap around and cut underneath, but I don't know, I tried doing that and it just hurt my hands, so maybe if you wrap the floss around something, but I tried that and I couldn't get to work. Alright, so let's see, I think we got all of this. Yep. Alright, so I think that side's good. Let's go ahead and go to the other side. Same thing, let's get underneath. I'm going to start from the bottom. Okay, we're just going to keep working our way over. Alright, so got most of it up. It looks like the bottom is still kind of holding in with a little bit. Okay, so let's get that. It's holding on this side. Oh, there's a tiny bit in the center of the bottom there. There we go. Alright, so now that we got all of the adhesive out, let's go ahead and lift this battery pack out. Like that, and here you go. So you can see underneath is perfectly fine. We didn't cut any of it or anything, but this one, this pack inflated so much it kind of like burst open through the side here. Let's see if I can kind of tape it back down. Yeah, so this battery pack, it split open the seam here. But all right. So that's how you remove the battery. We're going to set that aside. And then we're going to scrape out all this old adhesive. So you can move this speaker over again. All right, I'm going to use a plastic razor blade to do this. So basically what you want to do, lift the adhesive up a little. Once you do that, you can grab an edge of it and then you can slowly peel this away. Just like that. Okay, and we're just going to do this with all the adhesive here. Okay. Just like that. Try and get all the old adhesive out. Just like this. All right. This is a long process. You're welcome to fast forward through it. After we remove all this adhesive, we're going to clean it out with some isopropyl rubbing alcohol, because you can see there's some residue here. Hopefully it shows up on camera. All right. Peel that up. All right, and these cables, as I was saying, you want to be careful. Okay. Go ahead and continue peeling this stuff up. Usually this one gets a lot more residue and is more difficult to remove. Okay, peel that up as well. It helps to kind of peel this slowly. If you pull it really fast, it just tears. Okay. All right, just get as much of the adhesive residue as you can. Just like that. Clean up all this stuff. All right, almost there. Okay. All right, so next we're gonna try and clean off all this adhesive residue here. Okay. This stuff is somewhat of a pain to remove. The way I do that is I just get some rubbing alcohol. All right, let me get my isopropyl rubbing alcohol spray bottle. Okay, you don't need a spray bottle, you can use a pour bottle for this. But anyways, what I do is kind of just block this so it doesn't go into the board area, and then I just put some rubbing alcohol here. Okay, once I do that, I kind of just scrape at the adhesive, and the puddle of rubbing alcohol helps dissolve that adhesive. As you can see, or hopefully you can see, it gets all this gunky stuff in it. The adhesive. Clean up as much as we can. Won't be able to get all of it, but that's okay. We're going to use a paper towel and clean it up, and then that should be able to get the rest. Okay, there we go. Let's get a piece of paper towel. What we're going to do is wipe up all that goop. Okay, get that goop out of there. All right, fold that over so the goop isn't being rubbed into the computer. Put a little isopropyl rubbing alcohol in there, and then just wipe off anywhere that you see the sticky residue. Okay, just like this. There we go. So that's all clean now. We're going to do the same on the other side, and then the center. The center is a little more difficult because if you put too much rubbing alcohol, it can get in these little gaps, and you don't want it to do that. So sometimes it helps to just use the paper towel. if you're not very careful or you're not sure what you're doing. All right. Anyways, let's just get all the rubbing alcohol in here. Okay, just like this, and continue scraping all that adhesive up. Alright, there we go. We're going to get another clean paper towel because that one got all too much junk on it. Alright, same thing, put some isopropyl alcohol on it, and then we're going to wipe up the residue. Just like this. Okay. Alright, then now that one's all cleaned up, we'll let it dry up. Alright, so now we're going to clean this one. If you want, again, you can use the paper towel with rubbing alcohol on it. The only thing with this is it will take a very long time to clean this off, but it will work if you keep cleaning and wiping it. It'll eventually wipe all the adhesive off. I don't know if you can see that. It's slowly fading again, but that's going to take a long time, so I'm going to use this, put a little isopropyl rubbing alcohol there, and then I'm just going to kind of rub the adhesive, scrape the adhesive out with it. Want to be careful with the edges. Okay, here you can see a lot more of it is coming out a lot easier. It still does take a while, but it is easier than using just the paper towel. Okay. Might have to use more rubbing alcohol, but you get the idea. Okay, you can see all that gunk from the adhesive coming out. Most of it's getting stuck, so let's wipe that off, and then let's add some new rubbing alcohol. Okay. Alright, let's do the same thing. Put a little towards the center, makes it easier. Alright, and we're just going to keep doing this until we get all of it out. Okay. Go. Alright, getting there. Okay, I think most of the stuff on this side is out already. You can see all the cloudiness forming from the adhesive residue. Wipe that up. Okay. Alright, just get as much of that out. Alright, let's get another cleaner piece of paper towel again. Let's go ahead and try and clean off the rest using the paper towel. Alright, just clean that all off. There we go. Alright, let's go ahead and get another, fold it over to the clean side. I'm just going to try and clean off all this residue here. Okay. A little more rubbing alcohol. Clean that off. Alright, that's about as good as we're going to get it. This complete residue won't all come out, but you can try and get as much as you can. Once it dries, you'll actually see it keeps turning cloudy again. There we go. Alright, so let's go ahead and get the replacement battery. I like to put the speakers in place so that way when you drop it in, it will actually go in the right place. Okay, so let's go ahead and get the other speaker. We'll put this in as well. Okay, click this back down, just line it up and push it into place. Alright, let's go ahead and put back these screws for the speakers. Alright, I'll loosely fit the screws first so that way we can get all 3 screws in. And then tighten it into place. Alright, once we get all 3 screws, again, tighten it back into place. There we go. Now we're going to get the replacement battery here. Okay. Alright, so the replacement battery comes like this. There's this thick plastic piece. We're going to peel this off first. Okay, so just peel it off like this. I like to roll it back just like that. Okay. Once you peel that off, we're going to have to line up the battery. Okay, you don't want to peel off this top layer. This top layer is to keep everything lined up. Then you're going to slide this backwards, again, getting these underneath the speaker. Okay, alright, just like this. Make sure everything's lined up before you drop it down. Make sure that the screw over there is lined up. Okay, make sure that this goes underneath. Okay, get the screw mount lined up. There we go. And then you can slowly drop everything down into place. Oh, this is hitting the other thing. Let me peel this piece off. It's preventing me from moving it the way it needs to go. There we go. Okay, and there we go. So we got everything lined up. Let's get the last T5 or Torx 5 screw. Put that back in. Okay, this one just holds the battery board in place. There we go. Alright, you can go ahead and press down all of this to make sure the battery stays in place. And then to peel this plastic off, what you want to do is you want to actually roll it backwards like this. You don't want to pull it straight up because it can separate the layers in the battery and that can damage the battery earlier. Alright, let's go ahead and just peel this back like that. There we go. Okay, and there we go. Let's go ahead and reconnect the battery. So the battery will be like this, just like before. Sometimes it's not lined up right, so the way I get it lined up is I try and get one corner in first like that. Then you kind of work your way back over to the side, make sure everything looks lined up, and then just push it down. Alright, so there we go. Next, we're going to take the cover, and then just to be safe, we're going to do, whenever I do any big hardware component replacements, I do a Pram and SMC reset. We're going to test it before we put the screws back in. So let's flip this over. Let's open this up. Alright, so to do the Pram and SMC reset, first thing we're going to do, let's plug this in. If you're curious what it does, just Google SMC, which is S and then M and then C. Alright, reset, or Pram, P-R-A-M, reset, and then you can see what they do. But basically it's like resetting the BIOS kind of. Alright, so here you can see the Mac thing. I held the Option key so it would do that, so it wouldn't boot all the way. So to do the SMC reset, what you do is Control Option Shift on the left side, and then you press the power button. If your charge light's orange, it should go to green if you did it right, and then it should go back to orange. Then you know you did the SMC reset right. Alright, this computer's booting itself, so let's let it do that. I'm holding the Option key again so it doesn't boot all the way. Alright, so now I'm going to do the SMC reset and then the Pram reset. So, well actually let's just do the Pram reset. So I'm going to hold the power button to shut the computer off. Alright, so the Pram reset, what you do is you turn it on, and then immediately after you hold Command Option P and R. Alright, so Pram reset, just like this. You'll hear the chime. You should see the screen shut off, and then after that you can let go, or you can wait till you hear the chime a second time, so just like that. And if you hear the chime twice, then you know you did the Pram reset right, and there we go. So we're good to go. Make sure unplugging the battery, it still stays on. Yes, it does. Alright, and then it's always a good idea to charge the battery completely, drain it to 10%, and do that about 4 or 5 times before just using it as normally. These kinds of batteries don't like sitting at 100% for a long time, and you don't want to completely drain it to 0 and then leave it sitting, because then the batteries won't be able to hold a charge anymore. So if you plan to keep using the computer plugged in every once in a while, just unplug it maybe once a week or once every 2 weeks to prolong the life of the battery. Usually when it inflates like that, it's because the battery's just been sitting with always plugged in, never being unplugged, and not really used on battery much. So anyways, that's all there is to this video. Let's go ahead and put back the screws. But yeah, thanks for watching. If this video helped you, again, please like, subscribe, and share my channel with others. Right? Okay, again, if it saved you a bunch of money, please consider contributing to the channel. Every little bit helps, even $1 is greatly appreciated, so you don't have to like send anything crazy. Alright, but yeah. Alright, let's go ahead and put back the screws. You're welcome to stay while I put all the screws back in, but other than that, we're pretty much done. Alright, last two. Alright, there we go. Thanks for watching. See y'all later. Bye. Let's drop this.